My friend challenged me to write this song without ever hearing the original. If I can do it, I win $1 million, but if I can't do it, I get put down like a wounded dog. Okay, so what are we doing here? These are the lyrics to Alive from Jekyll and Hyde, the musical. I've never heard this song. I've never seen this musical. I'm going to take these lyrics and I'm going to set them to music. I'm going to rewrite a new version of the song, and then we're going to listen to the original, and we're going to see how it compares. I'm just jumping in to say that if you just want to hear the song and don't want all the build-up, skip to this timestamp. And it's a solo song. Solos are easy. I don't have to worry about like multiple characters and stuff. The composer of Jekyll and Hyde is Frank Wildhorn, and there's only one Frank Wildhorn musical I've seen, that's Death Note. So here's what I know about Frank Wildhorn from the score of Death Note. He writes fairly simple melodies, very big and dramatic, very kind of upbeat rock stuff. I feel like that's an easy style to mimic. I don't know for certain if Jekyll and Hyde is in the same style as Death Note. It might be totally different. I haven't really heard any of the music from Jekyll and Hyde, but I'm not going for an exact imitation of the original song. You know, the point is to see how it differs. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the lyrics. Okay, I have here on Genius the lyrics to the song that we're working with. I'm just going to read them out to start with. What is this feeling of power and drive? I've never known I feel alive. Where does this feeling of power derive, making me know why I'm alive? Like the night, it's a secret, sinister, dark, and unknown. I do not know what I seek, yet I'll seek it alone. I have a thirst that I cannot deprive. Never have I felt so alive. There is no battle I couldn't survive. Feeling like this, feeling alive. Like the moon, an enigma, lost and alone in the night, damned by some heavenly stigma, but blazing with light. It's the feeling of being alive, filled with evil, but truly alive. It's the truth that cannot be denied. It's the feeling of being Edward Hyde. Wait, what's this? Sweet miss, I thought I had lost you. It's fate, what bliss, sweet miss. Your folly will cost you dear, my dear. You'll see, you'll never escape me. I'm here, I fear, and you will pay dear, my dear. Animals trapped behind bars in the zoo need to run rampant and free. Predators live by the prey they pursue. This time the predator's me. Lust, like a raging desire, fills my whole soul with its curse, burning with primitive fire, berserk and perverse. Tonight, I'll plunder heaven blind, steal from all the gods. Tonight, I'll take from all mankind, conquer all the odds, and I feel I'll live on forever with Satan himself by my side, and I'll show the world that tonight and forever the name to remember is the name Edward Hyde. What a feeling to be so alive. I have never seen me so alive. Such a feeling of evil inside. That's the feeling of being Edward Hyde. With this feeling of being alive, there's a new world I see come alive. It's a truth that cannot be denied. There's no feeling like being Edward Hyde. Great. Those are the lyrics to the song. Now let's look at these lyrics, because these lyrics are going to inform how we're going to set this to music. I have read Jekyll and Hyde the book, and I can tell you that Jekyll's a nice guy, but Hyde, he's evil. So this is a song about how evil he is. Oh, I left out the most important lyric, which is growls. Har. This is a very intense, dramatic song. You know, Hyde is reveling in his own depravity. So we're going to write it in a minor key. Maybe the one in the original is a major key. I don't know. But my version is going to be in a minor key because that's intense and dramatic. Let's break down the structure of the song. So there's two main pieces of the structure of this song. We have this, which is the A verse. What is this feeling of power and drive? Because if you look at this A verse actually has totally the same structure as this one. And this one is, we can call it A prime. It's a little bit different. So all of these are going to have the same music. And then this is the B verse, which is going to have different music, but then this is the B verse again. So whatever music we write here is also going to go here. And whatever music we write here is going to go here, and it's going to go here. So we have A, B, A, B, A prime. And I call this A prime because it's mostly the same as the A section, but it calls for slightly different music. And then we have this little interlude, which it says it's spoken, but I don't feel like doing that. So he's going to sing it in my version. And this is totally new. This is something new. And then we return to, it's a little obscured, but this is actually just the A section again. And then the B section. Now, the interesting thing about this B section is here it's, it's like the night, it's a secret. Whereas here it's lust, like a raging desire, like a raging desire. So lust is an added syllable here. We have one added syllable. So he's going to scream lust, like a raging desire. And then this is new. This is a little mini bridge. So we have like a big bridge here, and then we have a little mini bridge here. This is part of the bridge, I feel like. So this kind of whole thing is going to be something new. And then these last two are both like A prime. We don't have that many different things to write because we have to write an A melody, a B melody, then the bridge, the big bridge, and then the second bridge. And I think that there's great room for a key change coming out of the bridge into here. Because by this point, we've heard this melody a lot of times. We're going to hear it again. We want a key change. So, whatever melodies I write for these lyrics are probably going to be fairly different from the melodies of the original song. But I think what I'm really curious about is, have I identified the places that use the same melodies throughout the song? Because I think if I can do that, then I know what I'm talking about. And if I can't, then I guess I should be taken out into the alley and put down like a wounded dog. Here we are in MuseScore, and here's the project I'm working on. You can notice I've already done a lot. I did this yesterday. I have a lot more work to do, but I already got a good start on it. And so I didn't start writing this in MuseScore. I sat down on the piano and fiddled around on the piano until I had something I liked. Let's kind of break down what we're looking at. This much, what I've just highlighted, is our A, and then this is our B. Okay, let's listen to the melodies I've come up with the A and B sections. And I'm going to sing along. What is this feeling of being alive? I've never known I feel alive. Where does this feeling of power derive? Making me know why I'm alive. Like the night, it's a secret, sinister, dark, and unknown. I do not know what I seek yet. I seek it alone. Perfect. Look at that. So let's break down what we're looking at here. A section is made out of two phrases. Ba da 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 da. Ya ba 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 ya da da da. And then that repeats. Da 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 da. Ya ba da da ba da da dum. It just phrase, do those again with no variation. Very simple. For this first phrase, we're just hanging out on an F, the tonic of the key F minor. I put it in F minor. I'm probably going to change that because this is a bad key for my voice. But I started out in F minor because I had to pick something. If I was giving it to a professional singer, I'd probably stick with F minor because then you can get those beautiful tenor high notes. Woohoo! But I can't get those. So we're probably going to go down to like D minor. So yeah, we're just hanging out a lot on F. We go down to the subtonic E flat. So the chord progression here is we start out in F minor and then we go to a C minor. This is the minor 5 chord. Traditional wisdom would tell you to do the major 5 chord, but I didn't like how that sounded, so I did the minor 5 chord. And then we go to a major 4 chord because I was feeling crazy, and then minor 5 again. And then we repeat that. And then here's the B section. So the B section has some significant differences in character. Let's talk about those. The A section, the melody, I've syncopated it. The B section, it starts on the 4th beat, but it solidly lands on the 1 rather than landing on the and, so it's not syncopated. It's a little softer, it's a little tenderer, more tender, so I changed the accompaniment. I gave these 16th notes. These don't sound very good. I don't like them that much, but they convey the idea. You know, here you get the big thumping quarter note bass, bum, 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 and then here, tender 16th notes. You know, we're fluttering. Sinister, dark, and unknown. That's kind of separated. Sinister, 1, 2, 3. Dark and 1, 2, 3. Known. You can separate it into groups of 3 syllables. So I set it to a trio. I originally had this set to quarter note triplets. Sinister, dark, and unknown. But that was way too fast. Sinister, dark, and unknown. That's way more reasonable. And then the same phrase kind of again. And then, except it ends differently. Phrase with a modification. And it goes up to the C. And this shouldn't be a quarter note. This should be a nice big whole note. And you see I've given us a little bar of 2/4 here. That's just to fit the length of the phrase. And then we return to the A section. And then we do the A section again. And then we do the B section. I could have written a repeat here and then written the second set of lyrics under here, but that would have been slower and more annoying because the rhythm's a little bit different. So if I was preparing the sheet professionally, that's probably how I do it. But for the time being, quick and dirty, I just copied and pasted it over again. We go through all that, and then we get to the bridge, the spoken part, which, like I said, is not going to be spoken. And you can see I haven't really written that yet. I've started it, but I haven't done much of it. So we're going to break that. We're going to look at that next. Okay, I brought you over to the piano with me, and we're going to set the bridge. The lyrics are over here. Now, I didn't film the process when I set the verses, so you missed out on that. Sorry. Because I wasn't going to make a YouTube video out of this, but then someone, and you know who you are, said that I should. So, here's what I hear for the bridge. We're going to give it a classic chord progression. That's 1, 7, 6, 5 in minor. Super famous chord progression. You'll hear this everywhere from Gethsemane and Jesus Christ Superstar to Stray Cat Strut. Nothing original, nothing new, but it's great. It works every time. But where we were in F minor before, we're now in A flat minor. A flat is the relative major of F minor, but we're not in major, we're in minor. So we went up to the relative major, but instead of being in major, we're in minor. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to play the full chords, which would be something like that. I can't remember if they're major or minor as they go down. I don't remember. We're not going to get that. We're just going to get the root notes. So, the effect that that's going to give us is that when we first hear it, it's a little ambiguous because we just hear the A flat and we think, okay, we're in A flat major because that has all the same notes as F minor. So if we hear the A flat, we think, okay, A flat major, but then it turns out to be A flat minor. So that's a little trick, a little gambit I'm going to pull. And now I'm going to figure out how the melody works, and I'm not going to do that on camera because I don't think it would be fun to watch because I just kind of play notes until something sounds good, so. Okay, we've spent some time at the piano, and I have an idea of what I want to do. Wait, what's this? Sweet miss, I thought I had lost you. It's fate, what bliss. Sweet miss, your folly will cost you, dear. My dear, you'll see you'll never escape me. I'm here, I fear, and you will pay dear, my dear. Animals trapped behind bars at the zoo. Look at that. We've arrived back at the A section, a half step higher. F sharp minor. Isn't that magical? And they say you shouldn't learn music theory. And then we have the second bridge. Tonight I'll plunder heaven blind, steal from all the gods. Tonight I'll take from all mankind, conquer all the odds. Kind of similar, but the first time we go down, the second time we go up. And then I feel I'll live on forever, as even though this is the darkest part of the words, I feel like this is happy to Edward Hyde. So I think let's harmonize this with some major chords or something. Live on forever, the world that tonight. I don't know. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I've spent enough time at the piano that I kind of want to go back to MuseScore. Writing at the piano is exhausting. Let's go back to MuseScore. We're back in MuseScore. You can see I haven't changed anything from the last time we were here. And I'm going to record the process of me putting some of this stuff into MuseScore. And we're going to hear that it's going to be kind of a messy process. I'm probably going to edit a good chunk of this out. But I think it's fun to record the process rather than just show you the finished result. Also, this song has been stuck in my head all day, which I think is a great sign, because I'm not even singing the real song. I'm singing the version I wrote. I'm going to listen to the song and it's going to totally throw me off my axis, but all day I've been going ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-ba-da-da-da. I've been singing that all day. It's awesome. That's how I know that I've written a strong melody. So you can see this disgusting key signature, A flat minor. You know what? Just to save myself from A flat minor, I'm going to go ahead and transpose this whole thing down by a minor third. Because I was going to do this anyway before I sing it, because it's more comfortable for my vocal range. What is this feeling of being alive? But now we get the less disgusting F minor. Look at that. F minor. So this, I don't want the chords in the right hand. I just want a nice, big... Do you want to know what I'm doing when I write Tresillos in MuseScore? Is I just write both of them, the first two notes as dotted, and then I go to here and I regroup the rhythms, and then that correctly gives us the tie. Because this is annoying to enter by hand. I don't want to do that. So, forte. Sweet miss, I thought I had lost you. I love copy and paste. We don't need the forte again. Oh. Yeah, the reason this sounds weird is because I wrote this as if I was still in A flat minor, which we're not, because that's on me. That's bad. Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah, you can see the process of actually sitting down and writing the music is kind of not that interesting. It's just a lot of like, what if I put this here? What if I put this here? A lot of copy and pasting. Don't tell my composition teachers that I'm doing so much copy and pasting. I promise when I write my own music, I don't copy and paste quite this much. But I want to write this song fast. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I have other stuff to do. I have a whole musical to write. So I'm doing this quick. This phrase is a little different because here we get the abada, abada, and then we go into the long phrase. Here we just get abada, one of them, and then we go into the long phrase. You know what I am going to guess? I'm going to guess that the Frank Wildhorn version doesn't have so many bars of 2/4, and that's the Sarah Moiseff special. That's called, sorry to the people who have to count this by memory. That's on me. That's my bad. My bad, guys. Behind bars at the zoo. So what you can see is that I'm kind of, like for each verse, I'm just kind of reevaluating what the rhythm needs to be. This is normal stuff. That's not anything crazy. What I'm trying to capture is that this is a scary song, and Hyde's a scary guy, but for him, I think it's fun. I think he's having a lot of fun with this, which is like why I'm kind of imagining like an upbeat rock number. Like this is kind of like his rock star anthem. Like he's having a great time terrorizing this poor woman. You know, the X, to those of you who might not read music, means you don't sing it. You say it, or in this case, you shout it. And if you don't read music, I'm sorry for the technical nonsense I've been throwing at you this whole video. Sorry. Lust. Berserk and perverse. Something that I think is interesting is that every single time we get this little B verse, we get 2 syllables in this part of the phrase and 3 in this part, which makes me wonder how it's set in the Frank Wildhorn version, because I can just add the little extra syllable as a pickup here. That's fine. That's not a big deal. But the fact that it's so consistently you get that extra syllable in the second half of the phrase makes me wonder, is there something in the music that like makes that make a lot of sense? I don't know. What I'm saying is there's probably a setting of this text that makes more sense than what I'm doing. But I didn't win a Tony. I don't know if Frank Wildhorn has won a Tony, but I assume, I don't know. So what also I'm going to do, I'm going to fix my mistake, which I mentioned earlier. I forgot something, which I did. It's true, I did forgot something, which is actually, that's fine. We're going to put that in now. It's the feeling of being alive, filled with evil, but truly alive. Every time he says being alive, I just want to go, somebody hold me too close. That one's for my Sondheim fans. You'll get that one. I feel really self-conscious using MuseScore on video because I'm fairly adept in MuseScore. I've been using it for like a decade. But a couple weeks ago, I was watching this composer work in MuseScore in a YouTube video, and they were so fluid. They were using all the keyboard shortcuts, and I was like, damn, I'm not that good at it, so I hope you guys like watching me use MuseScore. Not be denied, it's the feeling of being Edward Hyde. I wrote this part earlier when I was at the piano, and I did some weird stuff. I did my favorite, A Leap of a Seventh. The original song probably doesn't have a leap of a seventh in it. It might. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. The little 2-4-4-4 pattern has been kind of the name of the game. It's the feeling of being alive, filled with evil but truly alive. I like this little clash of the A natural in the bass and the A flat in the voice. I'm going to get that a courtesy XNL. So you know I didn't do it on accident. You know I did it on purpose. Composer chat time. There's this desire as a composer to start here and get bigger and get bigger and get bigger and louder and louder and louder. And that's not really sustainable. Because once you get louder like twice, you kind of can't really get more loud than that. So if you want to get louder again, you have to get quieter before then. So that's a kind of a thing for me to figure out is, like when I want this big moment of arrival, this should be a crescendo. But this can't be a crescendo to forte. If we're already at forte, we have to be right here. So like what if we mezzo piano this? Imagine that with drums. It'd be great. Tonight, it's the same thing with dynamics. You have to keep in mind with vocal ranges. You want to get to a big high note in a new section. You want to reach a new high note so that the singer can really belt it out. But if you get to a high note, and then you get to a higher note, and then you get to a higher note, you're going to get way out of any reasonable human's vocal range. So, if you want to get to a high note, you have to bring it down before you can get to another high note. You can't just keep going. That's a lesson that capitalism could serve to learn, but that's outside the scope of this video. C flat, also known as a B. I will say this line is where my text setting falls apart. Me so alive. That doesn't sound very good. That sounds stupid. I have never seen me so alive. But you know what? I don't think that's on me. I think that's on the lyricist. That's a fucking stupid line. I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't mean it. I have never seen myself so alive. I have never seen myself so alive. What the fuck? Why is it not myself? What's wrong with you? I wasn't going to modify the lyrics. But I'm going to modify the lyrics here. Because I don't want them to sound stupid. Also, I just kind of blazed past it. But I put us in E minor. We went from D minor, F minor, D sharp minor, E minor. I should have fewer key changes in my music. There's no feeling like being Edward. But here, big finish, a little different. Edward Hyde. But imagine that last note sounds good, you know. Imagine it's sung by someone who has a better vocal range. I put this song in D minor to better accommodate my vocal range. And then I key changed so many times that it's outside of my vocal range. And whose fault is that? Big Finish. Okay. Now, here's my composition strategy, is rather than getting the whole thing to sound good, I just do a super kind of bad sketch of the whole thing so I can get the whole thing on paper, I can see where I'm going, and then I go and polish. So let's listen to the whole thing. Okay, we listened to the whole thing, and I realized something. I forgot a section. I fully just forgot a big chunk of the lyrics. And I feel I'll live on forever with Satan himself by my side, and I'll show the world that tonight and forever the name's to remember, the name Edward Hyde. That's not in my version. I didn't put that in. But that's a job for tomorrow. We're done for today. Okay, we made good progress. Hello, I'm back. It's a new day. I finished writing the song, more or less. Here's what I did. We're going to start with a minor change that I made, which is, like the night, it's a secret, sinister, dark, and unknown. The way this was notated before, it was sinister, dark, and unknown. Now it's sinister, dark, and unknown. That's a subtle change. I changed it from a tresillo, i.e. dotted eighth, eighth, to quarter, eighth, quarter, eighth. There's a lot of ways to fit 3 notes into 2 beats. Triplet, tresillo, quarter, eighth, quarter. I went with tresillo originally because that is a very comfortable rhythm that I find myself defaulting to a lot. But I didn't feel that it was right for this song because that idea, that rhythmic idea, isn't really anywhere else in the song except in the bridge. But I think it's okay for the bridge to have its own thing. And so this quarter, eighth idea feels more supported by what the rest of the song's doing. So there's that. And then the bridge. And then the animals trap. So then the bridge, that used to be E flat minor here, and I changed it to D sharp minor. Those are the same thing, but I respelled it as D sharp minor because we're going to go into F sharp minor, and it's better to have sharps and sharps than flats and sharps. So D sharp minor and E flat minor are both keys with too many things in the key signature. I don't like them, but that's where we are. So I don't have to play this on piano. What I was missing, where we left off, was just the bridge. Just the bridge. And I've written the bridge. I'm not going to play it for you in full because we have to keep some surprise for when we hear the whole thing. It's a little harmonically adventurous. We get some new ideas. We get these big tremolos, kind of very floaty. And I feel I'll live on forever. I talked about this at some point earlier, how I thought that this was a very happy part of the lyrics for Hyde. You know, even though it's kind of detestable, he's enjoying himself. So these big eighth note arpeggios, very high in the piano register, you know, kind of angelic and floaty. And like it's mostly just alternating between an A major and a B major. The harmony that I think is really interesting is, I'll play it here. B major. We're in F sharp minor and we get A major, G major, B major, and it almost feels like we've cadenced on B major, but then the B major sets us up as the 5 of E minor, which we're about to be in next. So it feels like we've reached a stopping point, but then we just keep going. And that's kind of fun, I think. And then the whole finale is the same. So we have the song written. It's messy. It's not neat. I never intended. Oh, and I added a little intro because I didn't want to start just on the vocals. You know, that's too abrupt. I'm like, the song needs a little intro. So it's messy, but that's okay. It was always going to be messy. You know, the point is not to write a clean, polished, professional song. The point is to see where my compositional instincts differ from Mr. Wildhorn's. So now, there's nothing left to do but to record the song. So, without further ado, here is my rescoring of Alive from Jekyll and Hyde. What is this feeling of power and drive? I've never known I feel alive. Where does this feeling of power derive? Making me know why I'm alive. Like the night, it's a secret, sinister, dark, and unknown. I do not know what I seek yet. I'll seek it alone. I have a thirst that I cannot deprive. Never have I felt so alive. There is no battle I couldn't survive. Feeling like this, feeling alive. Like the moon, an enigma, lost and alone in the night. Damned by some heavenly stigma, but blazing with light. It's the feeling of being alive, filled with evil, but truly alive. It's the truth that cannot be denied. It's the feeling of being Edward Hyde. Wait, what's this? Sweet miss, I thought I had lost you. It's fate, what bliss. Sweet miss, your folly will cost you, dear. My dear, you'll see you'll never escape me. I'm here, I fear, and you will pay dear, my dear. Animals trapped behind bars in the zoo need to run rampant and free. Predators live by the prey they pursue. This time, the predator's me, lost like a raging desire, fills my whole soul with its curse, burning with primitive fire, berserk and perverse. Tonight, I'll plunder heaven blind, steal from all the gods. Tonight, I'll conquer all mankind, conquer all the odds. And I feel I'll live on forever, with Satan himself by my side. I'll show the world that tonight and forever, the name to remember's the name, Edward Hyde. What a feeling to be so alive. I have never seen myself so alive. Such a feeling of evil inside. That's the feeling of being Edward Hyde. With this feeling of being alive, there's a new world I see come alive. It's the truth that cannot be denied. There's no feeling like being Edward Hyde. Arr! How did I do? Do I deserve $1 million? Or do I deserve to be put down like a wounded dog? Okay, that was it. As you heard, I added some drums. I did a little bit of orchestration. Not great. I did it very quickly, but it was okay. Here, we have the moment of truth. I have the song pulled up on YouTube. I'm about to listen to it. I'm not going to include the audio of this song in my YouTube video, because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But I'll put a link in the description. Look, I'm a real YouTuber. Okay, I'm a little scared to listen to it, because I'm about to tarnish my virgin mind. Once I hear this song, I can never not hear this song. I have my version of the song really vivid in my mind, and I'm about to hear the real version. Okay. Enough dilly-dallying. Okay. I listened to the song, and I here have pulled up a transcription that someone did on MuseScore. It's not an official transcription, but it looks pretty good. It's pretty different than my version of the song. It's in 6/8. I just went with 4/4. I have to say, all of the groups of 3 and the lyrics really should have clued me off that it was in some time signature that played nice with 3s, 6/8 or 3/4. So I think that was on me. But, I have a very staunch will. And if you have a staunch will, you can fit 3 syllables into 4 beats or 3 syllables into 2 beats. You want to know how many key signatures are in the real, or key changes are in the real song? None. You want to know how many key changes are in my version? 4. Which I think is a sign that I'm not confident in my writing. I don't need to change keys that many times. I think there's maybe like one time it changes time signatures. Also, there's a really long instrumental break, which I didn't put in. I assume something's happening on stage. I don't know what. I really like the heartbeat effect. That's cool. The spoken part, I don't like how it sounds. I don't think it sounds very good. Because the lyrics are so intricately rhymed and structured, I just think that when you speak it, it sounds kind of goofy. I think it sounds better sung. The performer who sings it in the cast recording has a gorgeous tenor voice, can hit some beautiful high notes that I can't hit. So that's certainly better. And the orchestration in the version, and it's gorgeous. It's all gorgeous because they're professionals and they're working on a big budget. This big long note at the end, beautiful. I really love that high A. I think it's tremendous. That's kind of what I wanted in mine, but I just don't have the pipes for that. The melody on Being Edward Hyde was a lot more effective in the real version. Because in my version, I did the big Edward Hyde. I kind of tried to make it really dramatic with the leap down by a seventh and then up by an octave. And I think that's just too complicated. It's Being Edward Hyde. Something like that. It's been a while since I've taken a class on sight singing. But the point is, that melody I thought was way more effective in their version. It was simple. I liked it. I really like their 6/8. I think that it's a totally different vibe from my version. I was kind of turned Mr. Hyde into a rock star, and he isn't really in the version of the song that really exists. He's not really a rock star, which is interesting. That's what I would have done, but I like what they did. It's very Sweeney Todd, dramatic, classical, whatever. And I feel I'll live on forever with Satan himself by my side, and I'll show the world that tonight and forever. That part, if you remember when I talked about how I gave it kind of a soaring melody in my version because I felt like it was very ecstatic, they did the same thing in the real song. So that was a part where my instincts completely lined up with the Frank Wildhorn's. Even though we wrote different melodies, we wrote melodies with the same characteristics. So I think that bridge is probably the section where my version lined up the most with the real one. I'm going to listen to the real thing again. I've listened to it again, and I have more thoughts. We both had the idea of this song is him waking up, so let's start soft and build up. In the real version, a lot of that build-up happens before he starts singing. In my version, I was like, let's have the first verse be kind of soft and then pick up. And some of that is present in the real version. The first verse is kind of subdued, and then it picks up a lot. But I think there's more of a build-up before he starts singing in the real version, whereas mine, by the time that Hyde starts singing, it's still fairly subdued. There's a moment in the version near the end, in the real version, where he's going, the feeling of being Edward Hyde, and he rushes through them, the feeling of being Edward Hyde, and he like rushes ahead and gets to the next verse, and it's really fun. I don't know if that's written in the sheet music or if that was a choice by the performer, Anthony Varlow, but either way, I think it's great. It's a fun little moment that throws you off your guard. I think there's no question that the performance is way better in the real version and the instruments sound better, but that's stuff to be expected. But let me know, what version do you like better? Do you like my version or do you like the real version? Do you like Sweeney Todd Hyde or do you like Rockstar Hyde? Leave a comment and I'll respond to your comment. What lesson did I get from this? I think the lesson for me is to simplify. I don't need so many key changes. In a backwards kind of way, writing simpler music is, I think, more challenging because when you run out of ideas, you can just throw in a new kind of complicated thing and like have that be your idea. And I think to write really effective music that only uses a couple ideas is actually really challenging and can make the music way more fun to listen to. I mean, I can definitely say if I'm in the mood to put this song on, I'm putting on the real version. I'm not putting on mine. I think the real version's better. And I think especially when I'm trying to do a song this quickly, I think that's where the complicated stuff doesn't work very well because I don't have the time to really work it out. Because I think, for an example of a song I wrote that's incredibly complex and I think flows really smoothly, It Should Have Been Me from Ignatius, which you can hear on my Bandcamp in the Ignatius demos. That song is so weird, but I took the time to hammer it out piece by piece and make sure that it all made sense, and it's great. With this song, I went in with that really unorthodox approach, and I didn't love how it turned out. Clearly, the lesson is to be more open-minded about time signatures because I didn't really ever stop to consider what was the most appropriate time signature for the song. I just said, we'll do it in 4/4. And 6/8 clearly works great. And I think if I had paid a little bit more attention to the lyrics, I could have picked up on that it was in some kind of triple meter. But you live and you learn. If you'd like me to do this again with a different song, maybe something from Hadestown, maybe something from Come From Away, or Mean Girls, all these musicals I haven't seen, leave a comment, like and subscribe. If you like weird music, I've got a lot of it. Have a nice day.